The ending of Rise of the Beasts confirmed that G.I. Joe and Transformers now share the same universe, tentatively titled as the Hasbro Cinematic Universe. Back in April, it was made official that these two powerhouse franchises would collide in one movie. The studio tapped Derek Connolly, the writer behind Jurassic World Dominion, to pen the script. Since then, radio silence has surrounded the crossover. That is until producer Lorenzo Di Bonaventura dropped some fresh details in a recent interview with Collider. According to him, the movie is shaping up to be mostly Transformers 8, meaning it's essentially a direct sequel to Rise of the Beast. This pretty much implies that G.I. Joe will take a back seat, likely filling the void left by the US Army, which had a strong presence in Bayverse. Paramount and Hasbro, though, clearly want to rope in an even bigger audience by tossing yet another of their fan-favorite franchises into the mix. Nevertheless, the Transformers will remain front and center in the story. One of the biggest challenges with these kinds of crossovers is juggling the sheer number of characters that need to be handled. We already have a bunch of Autobots led by Optimus Prime, and the ending of Rise of the Beast confirmed that Anthony Ramos's character Noah is sticking around for the franchise. He's set to appear in the crossover as well, now as a G.I. Joe agent, serving as the bridge between the organization and the Autobots. As for which G.I. Joe characters will make the cut, there's no solid info yet. However, recent reports suggest that Chris Hemsworth has signed a deal with Paramount not just to voice Optimus Prime in Transformers 1, but also to fully appear in live-action films. This could be a hint that Hemsworth is set to take on the role of Duke, while Peter Cullen will continue to voice Optimus in live-action movies. The idea of Hemsworth stepping into such an iconic G.I. Joe role while simultaneously voicing a young Optimus in another project feels like Paramount is leaning hard into star power to push their universe. Could this be a brilliant move, or are they just throwing big names at the wall to see what sticks? Either way, it's bound to stir up some buzz. Right now, Derek Connolly is actively writing the story, meaning Transformers 8 is in the scripting stage, so they're still tweaking the balance between characters. Personally, I'd love to see Henry Golding's Snake Eyes make an appearance. Just like Transformers, the G.I. Joe movie series had its own soft reboot, and the writers should definitely lean into existing actors and characters to make this crossover feel more cohesive. Golding himself seems convinced that Paramount has big plans for G.I. Joe. In an interview with Comic Book, he said he has full faith in Lorenzo Di Bonaventura, calling him a phenomenal producer and assuring fans that the franchise is in safe hands. Also, he had previously said that a Transformers Joe crossover was 100% possible, and it's clear he's game for it. Golding also mentioned that when preparing for the role of Snake Eyes, he read a ton of comic books and was particularly drawn to the crossovers. It's worth noting that the original Transformers G.I. Joe comic series from the 80s was published by Marvel. While they weren't exactly bestsellers or cultural sensations, they hold a special place in the hearts of die-hard fans. The story kicks off with Cobra discovering a Decepticon spaceship on Earth. Naturally, the Decepticons led by Megatron team up with Cobra to take down both the Joe and Autobots. The upcoming movie is said to be heavily inspired by these narrative threads without bothering too much about plot logic. Let's be real, this movie is all about giving fans the crossover they've dreamed of. Whether it makes sense or not, Paramount seems ready to ride the wave of fan nostalgia and throw logic out the window for a high-octane showdown. It's also been revealed that Transformers 8 is set to dive deep into the origins of Energon, hinting that the franchise still has plenty of stories to unravel. Big questions remain, though, like how Megatron will be reimagined in this rebooted cinematic universe. Plus, the post-credits scene from Rise of the Beasts teased more interactions between Mirage and Noah, suggesting their relationship will continue to develop, potentially enriching the narrative in future films. Speculation is running wild about whether Stephen Caple Jr. will return as director, but what's really buzzing is whether the previous G.I. Joe movies will be considered canon, or if we're heading for a complete reboot. Will Golding's Snake Eyes be tied into the new Transformers, or will he exist in a separate universe altogether? It's still up in the air, but despite the crossover possibilities, the mixed reception and box office performance of Rise of the Beast might make Paramount think twice about how they proceed with these massive projects. That said, both Transformers and G.I. Joe have enormous fan bases, and there's no question some people are thrilled about the idea of these two iconic franchises finally meeting on the big screen. As for the release date, if production and filming stay on track, we probably won't see this crossover hit theaters until 2026 at the earliest. So get ready for a bit of a wait, but rest assured there's a lot more coming from the Hasbro Cinematic Universe. Stay tuned.